is continuing its legal fight with Colorado over a proposed canal in western Nebraska. The Perkins County Canal has been in the planning stages for years. Now, that project would divert water from the South Platte River in Colorado to farmers in Nebraska. Now, back in July, Nebraska asked the Supreme Court to settle the dispute. But earlier this month, Colorado asked the High Court to table the matter because no canal exists yet. In a brief submitted to the Supreme Court, Nebraska's Attorney General Mike Hilgers points to the millions of dollars the state's already spent on designs and engineering. He adds Nebraska's already bought 80 acres of land in Colorado to build the canal.
Now, the central issue at play in this suit, how the Supreme Court will interpret the South Platte River Compact. It's a 100-year-old deal approved by both Colorado and Nebraska's legislatures, but it was back in 1923 and later ratified by Congress. Nebraska claims Colorado is breaking the deal by blocking the construction of the canal and by taking too much water from the river in the summer, meaning Nebraska farmers get less water than they need.